Let's come back in order. All right. Mr. Clerk, do you have requests for a special meeting?
I have two.
All right. And are they duly assigned by two members of council?
Yes, they are.
Would you read both requests for special meeting into the record, please?
All right. The first request. I request that council hold a special meeting on March 27th at 6 p.m. to discuss, 1, the vote on the parameters of the investigation voted on in the February 9th, 2015 recording the resolution of the ORPD morale, turnover, and admin policies, and have the option to review and possibly select an investigator. Part 2 is to discuss and possibly vote on the merits of placing the chief of police on administrative leave for the duration of the investigation, and this is signed by council members Bond and council member Chen. And then the second one, I request for the agenda of the special meeting requested to be on March 27th to include the selection of a reviewer to conduct the police review approved in February, signed by council members Smith and council members Hensley.
All right, so we will have a special meeting related to those issues beginning at 6 p.m. On March 27th. All right, next order.
I'd like a point of clarification on that second meeting. So those are two separate meetings.
No, there's one meeting. One meeting, there's two.
Well, in their meeting, they're locking us into making a selection. In our meeting, we're having the option to select an investigator or not.
Well, they've called a special meeting at the at the same time. Two of them signed the request. We'll take all of them up that evening.
Did their special meeting set a time?
It doesn't have a time.
So as of right now, we have two special meetings that have been called.
Ours requested an addition to the agenda of the special meeting that other council members were requesting.
Okay.
Well,
I do see that carroted ear.
It contradicts the statement in the special meeting, which is to have the option to review, have the option to select. It does not obligate us to select an investigator.
Well, we asked for the selection of a reviewer to be part of the agenda of that meeting, not a separate meeting, and not an option, but to be done.
All right.
We have some speakers that want to make a comment here.
Okay.
Do they make a comment from a special comment?
Well, that's a good question. I don't.
Should they save it until the?
Yeah, I
This is scheduling. I mean, if you allow it, it's up to city council. We've already had citizen appearances.
yeah,
I don't think we should deny citizens the right to speak. I think that's a bad precedent. We saw that in the last work session.
I understand. I'm just trying to make sure we clarify what we're talking about so that we understand.
Any comments at this point from the citizens will be related to the special meeting that will be called on the 27th of March. So any citizens that wish to make comments to the council on that issue, now's your chance.
My name is Tracy Stout Powers, 103 Norton Road. It's kind of ironic, Ms. Bond, that you were talking about fairness. What's not fair is to call for the chief's head on a platter, which we've seen. What's not fair is to have a citizen accuse the entire city council of stealing with no proof. What's not fair is to have ask for the chief to be put on administrative leave before a review anything has been done. We're going by what you say. That doesn't fly.
Ms. Powers,
Not by what you say.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm going to cut you off as it relates to the comments related to
This is what we'll be talking about at that
which
time.
should be said or not said. So if you want to talk about, the meetings and what's going to be on the agenda, I'll allow you to proceed on that. But I think the road you were headed down was not necessarily directly on point. That's my only suggestion there.
But you get my drift.
I'd like to
Okay.
respond. I have not called for anyone's head on a platter.
No, your
I
minions
I'm
have.
sorry, I have the floor.
Well, now you'll
I have not called for anyone's head on the floor, on the platter.
Ms. Vaughn, now you're going to treat the citizens with respect, just like they should treat you with respect. So everybody, let's take a deep breath and get through the rest of this agenda and this meeting.
I don't believe I was any more disrespectful than you allow Mr. Jolie to treat me, Mr. Mayor, with all due respect. I have not called for anyone's head on a platter. I have simply
Never said
tried-
you were.
Do we have a sergeant
No, I
at arms
didn't.
in this room?
No, I didn't.
Are you going to allow back and forth, or are you going to allow me to have the floor?
I'm going to allow you to make your comments.
Uninterrupted, or the rules actually say I'm allowed to comment when I have the floor uninterrupted. Are you going to enforce that rule?
You have the floor, Ms. Vaughn.
I've not called for anyone's head on a platter. I have endeavored to try to provide an avenue for fairness throughout all of this. And I don't really appreciate all of the comments that you've made online and now here this evening directed at me. This isn't about me. This is about a police department.
May I make a comment?
No,
Or somebody's
Ms.
still talking?
Ms. Vaughn still has it. Ms. Vaughn
You're
still
through?
has the floor.
I'd like
All
to
Ms.
comment
Powers,
on
I
Ms.
think
Powers.
you've made your points too. So, thank you.
May I make a comment here? Ms. Powers,
Ms. Tinsley.
Ms. Powers was willing to go to the Blount County Sheriff's Office and review what the chief was being accused of, and wrote a very good and explanatory letter. I wish more people would do that. In my opinion, she stepped way beyond the call of duty, and she, in my opinion, has done exactly what every citizen should do, instead of just listening to what I consider to be tripe on Facebook.
Ms. Tinsley, I think we need to get back on the point before us, and that is the special meeting on the 27th. Thank you, Ms. Powers. I'm sorry.
Do I need Matt Bailey, 17
Thank you, Mr.
Riverside
Bailey.
Drive. The word fairness, let me address it in context of your next meeting. I would like for you all to consider asking all council members to be forced to sign something that states that they know that there is no conflict of interest at all in who they are asking to do the next review and or investigation of the police chief. The reason that I ask that you consider this is because this gentleman has notated that he believes there's a conflict of interest with the police chief and a board that he's a member of. I have become aware that in the PBA organization, the vice president of that organization is the husband of Miss Stephanie Gluck. What concerns me about this is that this knowledge has been essentially hidden from the citizens of Oak Ridge by that organization, and I'm sorry, by Ms. Bond, I believe that that has been your intent. I cannot prove that. That is my opinion, and that's what I believe. What I then believe is that it goes back to the transparency issue, and I would like for you all to consider asking all members to sign or pledge that they are completely open and honest, and that there is no conflict of interest for any group they recommend. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey.
Joe Stevens again. I think
Give you your direct-
Wobble 7 Black Oak.
Thank you.
The perimeter should be as broad as possible. Turn on the lights. Men love darkness because their deeds are evil. If nothing's wrong, it'll be proven. It'll be cleared. Mr. Agaki has every opportunity to defend himself. That's hogwash that he can't defend himself. He can step forward just like we do. The county sheriff is elected by the people. he's put under the microscope because the police chief is appointed. A council member tells us we shouldn't put him under the microscope. I disagree. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
William Kane, 410 Sherwood, Clinton, Tennessee. One of the requests that our board wanted to see was a special meeting, one of the things we wanted to see. So I want to commend you guys for setting a date for a special meeting. I know that the week of the 27th is a busy week for the board, for the council, with the National Park Service. So we just want to commend you for having a special meeting. Thank you.
Anthony Allen, 109 New Bedford Lane. Many of us have read and gone through those court documents. Many citizens have gone and done due diligence very, very thoroughly. And we do that work. You may consider it Facebook, but there are some very intelligent citizens out there, and we do that hard work that some people think that we don't do.
Mr. Allen, can you please get on the point as it relates to the March 27th meeting?
So I would like for this meeting to also make sure that we do a definition, find out what those parameters are, and discuss them thoroughly. Don't make them broad, but make them very, very clear, such that the citizens will know exactly, whether we're going to have the chief here or not. But we should make those definitions of these parameters very, very clear.
Mr. Kitzler.
David Kitzler, 144 Wellington. Are special meetings like work sessions, are public input allowed? That's my only question. Thank you.
Yes. Be a regular voting meeting.
Joseph Lee, 99 East Pasadena Road, Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Regarding the special meeting, I see one meeting and 3 items. That's what I'm hearing from the discussion from council. One meeting on the 27th, 3 items on the agenda. Good luck.
Any other comments related to the special meeting? All right. Next order of business. Mr. Krasinski, do you have a report?
No, I don't have a report.
All right. I think that concludes our business. And no. All right, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Yeah.